I need to tell you about the night I fucked my best friend's husband. There it is. That's the headline. You want to know why. You want to know how. And somewhere in that dark little corner of your brain you don't show anyone, you want to know what it felt like. Let me give you all three. Her name is Maya. Best friends since 12. 23 years of me being the fat one, the loud one, the one guys slap on the back and say, "You're hilarious," before they turn to her and ask for her number. I've been the sidekick for 23 years, and I've been in love with her husband for 8. His name is David. Met him at their engagement party. He showed up late, flustered, holding a gas station bouquet, shook hands with her father, kissed her mother's cheek. And when he got to me, he didn't do the thing, the glance over the shoulder, the distracted nod. He looked at me, actually Times looked, and said, "You must be the one who keeps her sane. Thank you for that." 8 years ago, and I've been unraveling ever since. Here's where the story gets sharp. Maya and David have been having problems for 2 years. She tells me everything. That's the curse. She tells me they haven't had sex in months, that she doesn't know if she loves him anymore, but she's too scared to leave. She tells me this with her head in my lap while I stroke her hair. And I listen. I nod. I say, "You deserve to be happy." And every word is true. I do want her to be happy. I just don't want her to be happy with Times him. The cracks showed 6 months ago. David started texting me. Not about her, about books, music, random things. He sent me a song once. I listened to it 17 times. It was about wanting something you can't have. Then came the night. She called at midnight, sobbing. He'd said something. She'd said something. The usual dance. Could she crash at my place? I told her to come over. Left the key under the mat. She didn't come. Texted. She was staying at her mom's instead. I sat in my apartment, alone, at midnight, knowing he was in their house alone, knowing she was 20 minutes away. Knowing, and this is where the voice got very quiet and very clear, that no one would ever know if I drove over there. I told myself I was checking on him. That's the lie. I got in my car, drove 12 minutes, parked 2 blocks away. Sat there for 20 minutes, hands on the wheel, asking myself if I was really going to do this. I got out. His truck was in the driveway, lights on. I could see his silhouette through the blinds, just standing there. I knocked. When he opened the door, he didn't look surprised. That's the moment I replay. He opened it, saw me, and his face didn't do what a normal person's face does when their wife's best friend shows up at midnight. He just stepped back, opened the door wider, and said, "I knew you'd come." I stepped inside. He closed the door. And for a long, terrible, perfect moment, we just stood there in the hallway. "She's at her mom's," I said. "Stupid, obvious. I know," he said. And then, "Are you okay?" He asked, Times me, times if times. I times was okay. At midnight, in his house, after his wife had just left. And I realized in that instant that I wasn't the sidekick in this room. I was the one he was looking at. I walked toward him. He met me in the middle. That first kiss wasn't passionate. It was Times relieved, like something that had been holding its breath for 8 years, finally exhaled. His hands cupped my face like he was memorizing it. "I've been wanting to do that for so long," he said. I believed him, because I had too. What happened next was slow, deliberate, the kind of slow that happens when 2 people have been circling each other for years, and finally, stop pretending. He led me to the guest room, not theirs. I noticed that. I noticed everything. The way his hands shook, the way he looked at my body like it was something precious, the way he said my Times name like it was the only word that mattered. After, we lay in the dark, his arm around me, my head on his chest. We didn't talk about her. We talked about the song. The book I'd recommended 3 years ago. All the years we'd spent standing next to each other at parties, pretending we weren't counting the inches between us. I left at 4 a.m., drove home, slept 2 hours, went to work, Texted Maya about brunch like nothing happened. That was 3 months ago. We've been meeting every week since, always in the guest room, always with a cover story that holds. And the sickest part? It's made me better at pretending. I listened to her complain about David not being affectionate enough, and I nod sympathetically while my skin remembers exactly how affectionate he was last Tuesday. But last week we almost got caught. We were in the guest room, mid-afternoon, a stupid risk, but we'd gotten careless. I heard her key in the front door. David's face went white. I grabbed my shoes and slid into the hallway closet, heart slamming so hard I was sure she'd hear it. She called out for him. He answered from the kitchen, voice steady. I stood there in the dark, smelling his cologne on my neck, listening to her ask why he was home early. He said he'd forgotten a file. She bought it. And after she left, I came out of that closet and we didn't say a word. We just looked at each other. That's when I first saw it. Not fear, not guilt. Something colder. Calculation. The moment it crystallized was last Sunday. We were at her place for brunch, the three of us, like always. Maya was telling a story, laughing, reaching across to touch his hand. I watched him while she talked. He pulled out his phone under the table, glanced at a message, and slid it back. His face didn't change, but his thumb hovered over the screen just a second too long. Later, when she went to the bathroom, he leaned in close to me and whispered, "She starts couples therapy on Tuesday. How much time does that give us?" Not. What do we do? Not. I feel guilty. How much time does that give us? In that instant, I saw the same cold math I'd been doing for months. He wasn't tangled in some grand romance. He was running a parallel operation. And for the first time, I realized I might not be his partner in crime. I might be another variable he was calculating. 2 weeks ago, Maya told me she wants to try couples therapy. She said she still loves him. I smiled, told her, that's beautiful. She should fight for her marriage. Then I went home and texted David she wants therapy. She's not giving up. He replied, then we need to move faster. I didn't ask what that meant. I didn't want to know. Or maybe I did. Here's what I'm finally admitting. I don't know if I want to be with David. I think I want the game, the secret, the power of holding something that would destroy her if she ever found out. For 23 years I watched her take everything. The attention, the guys, the life. It just flowed toward her like water downhill. And I got the leftovers, the "you're so funny." The quiet certainty that I would always be second. Now I'm first. In one room. In one secret. And I don't want to give that up. David thinks he's in control. He thinks we're a team. He thinks I'm his. But I've been invisible for 23 years. And I've learned something. Invisible people know. When no one's watching you, you can do anything. So here's my confession. Not the affair. The truth underneath. I don't know if I love him. I don't know if I want her marriage to end. I know I want to see what happens next. I want to see how far this goes before someone breaks. I'm holding a sledgehammer over the most beautiful boat I've ever seen. And I'm not sure I have the strength not to swing. If you had the chance to finally take what you've been watching someone else hold for years, would you stop? Or would you stand there, holding the match, just to feel the heat on your face, and wait to see how long you could keep it from dropping? I've been holding it for 3 months now, and sometimes, late at night, I imagine her finding out. I imagine her face, the sound she'd make, and I can't tell if the feeling in my chest is terror or anticipation. If she walked in tomorrow, would I feel relief? Or would I feel the same emptiness I've carried since I was 12, finally filled with something real? I don't know. But I'm starting to wonder what kind of person I'll be when I finally let it go.